What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Omar. It's been a minute, and again, I'm here with my guest. What's good, Josh?
How's it going, Omar? I'm doing good.
So we're off to the races. The season has started. Not gonna lie, I didn't expect this at all. I predicted Orlando would go 2-2 to start. They lost both games I thought they would win. They won the game I at least thought they had a chance to win. But they did beat the Knicks in New York after getting absolutely annihilated at home versus the Knicks. They got annihilated by San Antonio and San Antonio to open up the year. And finally, most recently, they lost to the Miami Heat in Miami. Is there anything surprising to you about these first four games?
I think against San Antonio, I think I expected us to get the win. I know they're a good young core as well, DeJounte Murray and all of them. He's their leader basically. But I thought we stood a good chance. And the part that pissed me off was that we lost by so much. It wasn't that we lost, it's that we lost by so much. You know, Bamba had a great game. WCJ had a great game. Wagner had a great game. But everyone else was just like lost. And yeah, it's the first game and everything, you know, everyone's going to say that. But it was sad to see that we lost by that much because it shouldn't have happened like that. Against New York at home, I thought we were going to get the win because going to MSG, playing in that crowd, it was going to be difficult. And the fact that we lost at home by that much, we went to New York and then won, it was kind of uplifting because Cole Anthony just went off. He went off for 29 points, 16 rebounds, I think 8 assists, looked spectacular. And then against Miami, again, they look lost. Suggs scored 15, but he just looked lost out there. You know, if he didn't score those 3-pointers, how many points would he have had? You know what I mean? Like he was turning over the ball. He couldn't make the right passes, the right plays. Defensively, too, it looked like he was lost. And I know this is a young team, and I know it's just the first 3 games, but still, we need to see more. You know what I mean? There needs to be more effort. It's one thing if your shots aren't going in, but you need to show effort each and every night.
I personally don't think this has to do with the lack of effort. I think it has to do more with they need to execute a little bit better. I don't really think Suggs necessarily looked lost. I think he was compensating for a lot of because I'm gonna say this, especially for against Miami. I'll start with Miami. I don't think. I guess the first 2 games he looked sort of lost, but I think against Miami he looked fine. Offensively, it's gonna come together. He's gotten better as each game has gone by, so I'm not too worried about Suggs. I knew against San Antonio the moment Gary Harris was a late scratch, it wasn't a go well. But yeah, I agree. It was a complete disappointment to get annihilated, especially against New York. For the New York fan base to completely take over the Amway Center, it's sickening. But again, it shows. It happens. The jokes that Channing Frye and Richard Jefferson were making, it shows. The Knicks fan base took over the Amway Center. The Magic got annihilated. I heard that introductions were lackluster. It was just really disappointing night all around. But shout out to Six Man Show getting in there, asking his first questions as part of the media. But unfortunately, I think we're very lucky to have the one win that we have. For Terrence Ross catching fire to score 22 in the fourth quarter, Cole Anthony being hot at the beginning of the game, keeping us in the game. I think the win against New York, we were extremely lucky. It's not to take anything away from them because they earned that themselves, but they did catch a lot of bricks with guys getting into rhythm, and when they did, I really hope as we get guys back, Mo Wagner and like Robin Lopez, Iggy, they just see the court less and less because they don't really seem to fit the scrappy defense that the Magic want to play. They just seem like they're not like the right personnel. Because I'm not gonna sit here and say that they're bad players. I feel like they're better under Steve Clifford's system. That's what I see when I see Robin Lopez. I can't imagine or like see Robin Lopez scrambling from one defense to another. See Mo Wagner scrambling from one. I feel like they're better defensively when like they're not taking any risks. They're just being solid, and it's nothing against them. It just doesn't fit. So I hope as Chuma gets back, once GI gets back, it'll make a lot more sense because those two are very, very strong defenders. Once Markel gets back, it's gonna make the life of Jalen Suggs so much easier, which is why I get it. I get it. Markel got hurt in February or early January, right?
I think it was early January. Yeah.
Okay, early January. So I get why Markel isn't back. But J.I. has been gone for 15 months. I don't want to hear that it's just taking time. Zach LaVine has been towards ACL, like he came back within the year. Who was I forgot her name, but the WNBA player who took a serious injury and came back within 6 months. J.I. has been gone for 15 months. The inconsistencies with Chuma Okeke of you have someone up from the front office saying, "Oh, he's back. He's just bringing up his conditioning." So I expected him to play at least in one of the back-to-backs. But Jamal Mosley is giving a different message saying that he's still rehabbing. But it doesn't seem cohesive at the moment from there. I just really hope that they're not throwing games for tanking purposes. This team healthy isn't this bad. It's not bad. They're a strong defensive team when fully healthy. Offensively, they shouldn't be that bad either. J.R. seemed like he was improving. Markel, the Magic are missing 3 starters. Let's put it as it is. They're missing 3 starters. Whether Franz may take Chuma's starting spot, we'll talk about it. But at the beginning of the year, we knew we were missing 3 starters in J.I., Markel, and Chuma. So that's why I can't sit here at sitting 1 and 2 and say tank. I can't. I need to see if we lose games as a full healthy team. So be it. Then I have nothing to say. But throwing these guys out there, watching them go through getting 15 points straight score because they're out of whack, they're not ready. But you have guys that been there, especially Markel. You can't tell me when Cole is out there struggling, when Jalen's out there struggling, that Markel's not the calming presence that's needed. But you have no one to go to. And I get it. Markel is the only one that would make sense. But it seems like Markel Fultz is the first one that's going to come back from the 3. I just don't get it.
For me, it's like, okay, Jonathan Isaac has had an injury past. He's injury prone. Is that fair to say?
The Jazz injuries have been freak injuries, so I don't even want to put the injury prone label on them. You know, you had the contact to contact with Bradley Beal, which it happens. The torn ACL is a freak play. So what injuries are are piling up? I don't want to say that about J.I. So I don't know what it is. I just don't get it.
One person could say that Jeff Waltman and John Hammond are trying to be safe. But at the same time, it's frustrating as a fan because all we want to do is see our players out there. You know what I mean? All we want to do is see them not rush back, but when they're ready and they get practices in and their conditioning is good, then they should be good to go. But it seems like they're taking their time and it gets annoying because he's ready. I think J.I. was talking to Will Kane or somebody, and he said if it was up to me, I'd be ready opening night.
Exactly.
Being ready opening night. That means a lot to say that you'd be ready opening night because people were thinking November, December. But the fact that you're saying you're ready, you're good to go by opening night, which was basically a week ago, means a lot. And the fact that they're still holding out means that they're being too cautious because if he comes back, say he comes back sometime in November or December, the first game he comes back, he gets injured. Then what are they going to say? Oh, we brought him back too early? No, because you waited as long as you could. And the fact of the matter is you can't stop injuries from happening. So regardless of how long you're holding out J.I. for the sake of keeping him safe or tanking, you're only making things worse. And you're only avoiding what could be the inevitable. Now, I'm not saying J.I. is going to get injured when he comes back. I'm just saying if he gets injured right when he comes back, it's not because we rushed him. It's because he was ready to go, and it just happens. Now, in the case of Chuma, I heard it was a hip bruise and that it was a small thing. And then
they said this at the beginning of training camp.
And then they said that he was good to go, I think, a week before the regular season. And then he was just getting his conditioning back. So we wouldn't see him in the preseason. And I'm like, okay, it's preseason. It's okay. We're literally almost 2 weeks into the regular season. And this guy isn't even like, we haven't even heard about him returning anytime soon. And it's weird because this isn't like an injury that they're saying, oh, he's going to take 6 to 8 months. And they're not putting a time to. This is literally days or weeks. And you could say at any point, oh, we could expect him back sometime next week or in the next few days. They haven't said anything like that. And the fact that they haven't said anything like that shows that it's that his injury is either worse than they let on to begin with, or again, they're just being too cautious with these type of injuries. Chuma should already be out there. Again, we're all waiting for the return of Markelle Fultz, man. Regardless of his shooting or anything like that, he always brings a calming presence to this team. He knows how to get people involved. He knows how to attack the rim. At his worst, he could average like 12 or 13 points. At his best, he's someone who could give you 20 plus. And that's if he gets his 3-point shooting up there. By the way, we've already seen him put up 20 plus points without shooting threes. So it just shows you we don't need to tank. This team, when healthy, is capable of fighting for a playing tournament. You can't tell me I'm wrong. So we just got to wait till they come back. But it's a little alarming when we're talking about these injuries and that we're not getting timetables.
Yeah, and for me, when it comes to Kel, it's not even about the counting stats. It's just about being that steady guard that's able to control pace. That's something that's huge because Cole Anthony has much improved from his rookie year to be able to control pace. But he's not at Markel's level.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Suggs still has to learn how to control pace. MCW is hurt. H1 Moore is hurt. So what are we doing? Again, Markelle, I get it. The average timetable says he shouldn't be back yet, so I get it. So, and again, this is on the premise that has been no setbacks. So if the front office is high, it's just not letting on to there's been a setback or there's something up, then what are we doing? Because if you're overly cautious, just throwing games just for a better, because then players aren't going to get better when you're down 25 points at halftime, losing by 20 at the end of the fourth quarter. Like players aren't getting better. That was something I loved about Steve Clifford. He stated, "You're not getting better in blowout minutes. You're not." But here we are. I really hope that sometimes when we get Chuma and right soon after that we get JI, because I really want to see this team healthy. The reason I didn't predict them to be in the play-in tournament is simply because they came into the season injured and knowing this front office, I didn't know. I don't know like a time area of when they're coming back. I put money that I think it was Kel that would be back by March 16th. I think I just lost. I feel like I messed up, but
did you actually put money?
I did. I really did. I was very confident. You know, Kel was saying like he was feeling good in the workout videos. He looked good. I mean, who was it? John Hammond that said he might best case scenario be ready at the beginning of the year.
No.
It's just inconsistent. It bothers me. It's just inconsistent. I get that you don't want to give timetables. Just be consistent because they're not. And that's just a troubling thing. But let's talk about the positive things. I think Franz Wagner has been sensational. He's been very surprising, and I'm very happy that with how he's played, he didn't look all that great during the summer league. Looked a little bit better in the preseason, but now he came out of the regular season like a completely different player. Some may say that he's might challenge Chuma for his starting spot. What have you seen out of Franz Wagner?
When draft night occurred and we took Franz Wagner, I thought it was the right pick. Not because I was high on Franz, but because everyone talking about James Bouknight. Like we didn't need another guard. As good as he is, there's no diss. As good as he is, we didn't need another guard. And it was just going to make the rotation a lot messier if we got him. Watching him in Summer League, yeah, it was pretty disappointing. But man, during this regular season so far, he's been balling out. He does so many little things I don't know. It doesn't matter if he scores between 10 to 15 points. He's always playing good defensively. Yeah, he gets called for fouls, but at that point, it's out of his control. It's either they're too strong or he's not going to let them get the easy basket. But most of the time, he's playing good defense. He's making the right plays, making the right cuts to the basket at the perfect times. You know what I mean? Him making the right passes to other people. Yesterday, I don't know if you were watching the Miami game, but he was taking it to the rim and RJ was running on the other side and he could have thrown the lob, which could have been dangerous because they could have stolen it. But instead, he waited till the last minute when he got the defender, passed it to RJ and RJ made the layup. And I'm like, yo, this guy has all the fundamentals of just being a really good NBA player, really solid player for us.
Is this what we wanted out of Aaron Gordon?
I guess you could say we wanted the more athletic version.
But like,
you know what? Yeah, you could probably say that. Yeah, maybe with the post game because Franz looks more like a 3 and AG was more of a 4, but definitely similarities. And this is what we wanted to see from AG. And the fact that he's already shooting well beyond the 3-point arc, like I think he's hovering around 50%. Like he's doing so many good things. I'm so happy for the kid, and I'm glad he's feeling confident in his game.
Yeah, well, Franz is shooting around 35% from beyond the arc, which is still strong. He's taking the ball in. He's always making the right cuts. It's just great to see. And defensively, this team defensively are fully healthy.
Beast, man. We would be a beast.
This team defensively, when they're fully healthy, is going to be a very, very good defensive team. I think they could be a top half defensive team. Another thing that has worked very, very well has been Wendell Carter and Mo Bamba playing the 4 and the 5. I've been very happy with Mo. Mo hasn't really tried to outdo what's it from. He lets the game come to him, which is very, very like a veteranish style of play. You know, he's not really forcing to get statting numbers, you know, because he had like 10 points and 5 rebounds against Miami, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't force anything, which I really like. I think the chemistry between Mo and Wendell look very strong. So I think once J.I. comes back, who's still the starter? Because it's not like Mo's not playing Wendell, because Wendell's playing great as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you pair J.I. at the 5 with?
Well, personally, speaking biasly, I guess I would pick Mo just because, man, just think of them both defensively out there together. Oh my goodness, man, like that would be beautiful. That would be something sensational to watch. But I guess you could probably say Wendell Carter Jr. just because right now they're almost tied. You know what I mean? Mo has probably had better points per game, better like scoring games so far through these first couple of games, but also Wendell has also been just a little bit more reliable in what we need in the starting center position. Like he does hook shots and he plays better in the post. That's something I want to see from Mo. I want to see that, you know, him get the ball in the post and do more. But again, like it'd be tough to sit Mo because he's doing so many things well too. Again, like you said, he's allowing the game to come to him. You know what I mean? In his first game against San Antonio, he already scored 18 points. If the 3-point is falling for him, if he can just do a few things in the post, make the right cuts to the basket at the right time, so people can play with him in the right way in the pick and roll. He's a beast as well, and he's definitely upped his game. That his energy, his effort is it's there. It's there this season. So I'd say you'd probably be starting Wendell, but I'd have no arguments if Mosley wants to start Mo with J.I.
Okay, so for me, I think the one aspect I would really love for Mo to take from Wendell would be the more consistent, like defender not being able to like get pushed on as much, which he's really improved on from the end of last season.
He has,
and it's really annoying to see like the reputational fouls called on Mo. It happened a lot against Miami, where like Bam couldn't push him down, but since like Mo did a lot last season, they called the foul on him. But I think the same defensive chemistry Wendell and Mo have, I think J.I. and Mo can really have. So I say this more out of offensive purposes, that I think Mo would like play better with the starting unit, which would help. Kel spread out the floor, which would help. J.I. spread out the floor, Franz, and they would give them more room to drive because Mo was able to knock down the three. He may well be the damn best shooter in that starting five. So for that reason, I think I would start Mo, but I really wouldn't have a problem if Wendell gets the starting spot. But I still think both will play around the same minutes, around like 25 to 30 minutes a night, because you're able to play Wendell at the four and play them together. So you really have to. RJ Hampton also has a great. Mostly's gonna have a tough time when everyone gets back to build that rotation. Because I know I get the feeling he doesn't want to go 11 deep, and depending on how Gary Harris looked by the time everyone else comes back, it's gonna be a tough time for Mosley to build that 10-man rotation. And then now Cole's playing well, Jalen's playing well, RJ Hampton's playing great defense, knocking down the three, it's running out in transition. So it's gonna be tough, especially if Gary Harris gets going. Because I was happy, for Gary Harris' first game back. Defensively, like he didn't look lost.
Mhm.
That was one takeaway from Gary Harris's game against Wagner. He didn't look lost, and that's exactly what I wanted to see out of him. And once everyone comes back, I just need to see when the first unit comes out and they break the lineup, that Orlando doesn't get 17 points on their head. So what are like 2 to 3 things you want to see the Magic improve as like in the next couple of games?
I want to see their defense be better. I'd say some people's individual games have been okay, but as a team, the defense, they have to have better positioning. That's something we talked about Mo last year, but now it looks like at times when they're getting back on defense, they're not structured properly. And that's something I really want them to work on when they get back on, when they score and get back on defense. They're either not quick enough or they're lost on who they're supposed to guard. And I want to see that be smoother. Another thing I want them to do is make their open shots, because you know what? The game would be a lot easier if they made their open shots. You know what I mean? Like, again, 3-point shooting is part of the game. You need to have shooters out there. T. Ross scored 22 in the fourth quarter against the Knicks, but then against Miami yesterday. Again, it goes back to, we've always known this. He's inconsistent, but it's not just about T. Ross. It's about the whole team making their shots. Obviously, they're not going to go 10 for 10 if they get open shots, but you at least need to make half of those open shots. You need to be consistent shooting the 3-ball. Otherwise, man, you're going to fall behind. And we've seen that in previous games. If you can't get the 3-ball going, you're going to fall behind. It doesn't matter how good your defense is, because that will only carry you so far. But those are a few things I want to see them work on. And the rotation, because Iggy Brasdeikis in the rotation kind of gives me a headache. Mo Wagner getting a few minutes is okay. Robin Lopez has kind of shown that he can be somewhat reliable and helpful. But definitely with Iggy, man, like that guy needs to get out of the rotation. I'm sorry.
I think for Ross, it has to do with a lot more that they're daring anyone else to beat him. So there's nothing Ross himself can really do. It's better that he makes the right play than shoot over 2-3 people. So I have no problem with Ross making the right play. In New York, he was just able to find more wiggle room to let things go. So I think as that guys came back and Ross plays with more consistent playing groups that are able to make shots, I think Ross will look a lot better. So I don't really have a problem with Ross. Defensively, I know the numbers may not say that they're doing that strong of a job, but I think their defense hasn't been that bad. Well, it hasn't been great. I'm not going to say that, but I think a lot of the defensive problem has to do with they're turning the ball over a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're having live turnovers, it's gonna give them easy points, and that's when you start falling behind, and then you're breaking away from what works offensively to force shots, and that's what breaks down. So I think the number one thing they have to do is limit turnovers, which that's what they did against New York and Madison Square Garden. So I think that was the biggest thing for them. I think that's the key. If you limit turnovers, you're able to set your defense, and things will work a lot more smoothly. And yeah, you got to hit your open shots, and also is rebounding. I think they gotta rebound more. Mo just doesn't have the body as of yet to control the boards by himself. So I like what Cole Anthony has been doing, crashing the boards, getting 60 rebounds against New York. I like Hampton fighting for rebounds. I like that our guards are fighting in for rebounds. And I think once Chuma and J.I. come back, it's going to help even more. So I think those are the kind of biggest keys: making open shots, limiting turnovers, and getting on the glass. So to wrap this up, Orlando, the next 4 games for Orlando, sitting at 1-2, we are going to play Charlotte, Toronto, Detroit, and Minnesota. What's your prediction for those 4 games?
Sorry, so Charlotte, Toronto, who are the last 2 games?
Detroit and Minnesota.
I think we take the win Wednesday, tomorrow, against Charlotte. Again, you're gonna have to be at your best, and that's hard to do every single game. But I believe tomorrow in Orlando, we're gonna take the W. Friday, I'm gonna say we get the W again.
Okay.
I say, look, Raptors are also struggling. I think it's gonna be really close. But I think the Magic will edge it out. And you said Boston and Minnesota?
Detroit.
We're going to take the one against Detroit.
Okay.
Because especially if Cade comes back, that's going to be another chip for Jalen Suggs going up against Cade Cunningham. Even though he should already be at his best, it doesn't matter who he's going up against. But I think we're better than Detroit. And then the last team was Minnesota. I think we take the win. So you know what? I'm going to be optimistic and say 4-0.
No, I can't go. No. There's no way you saw what Orlando looked like in the first 4 games and think they're about to win 4 straight.
Do you want to make another bet with me, or?
You can. So Wednesday night against Charlotte, I think LaMelo may be out. I think we could beat Charlotte, especially Charlotte isn't the greatest defensive team in the world, and coming off against some of the strongest defensive teams, coached by Pop, Thibodeau, and especially Miami, that a defensive team like Charlotte, I think Orlando is going to get a lot more comfortable offensively. I think they'll end up beating Charlotte Wednesday. I think Toronto's going to provide a lot of problems. Regardless of if Siakam's ready by then, it'll be even more interesting. But again, without Siakam, I think the versatility that Toronto has is going to put a lot of pressure on Mo and Wendell, because a guy like Scotty Barnes, who's quicker than Wendell Carter Jr. at the 4 spot, and he's able to handle the ball. Which if the offense runs to the 4, so the defensive pressure is put on Wendell Carter a lot more. Then you have to worry about Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, who's had a great start to this year. I think Toronto's going to be a tough game to win. I think you end up losing against Toronto. When it comes to Detroit, I think you end up beating Detroit. Detroit has yet to win a game this year. I think they're strong without Cade Cunningham. Killian Hayes is basically his rookie year. Missed a lot of time last year with his injury. I think you're able, if you're there defensively and you limit mistakes, I think you're able to beat Detroit. And then Minnesota has looked great this year. All the guys are healthy. Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns. I think we end up losing to Minnesota. I think we go 2-2 this week, possibly 3-1 if you're able to knock off Toronto. I think you end up beating Charlotte and Detroit and falling to Minnesota and Toronto. I just really need this team to stay afloat, for the guys to come back and not already be 10 games under 500. Hopefully,
if we can hover over 500, I'm gonna make a bold statement and say we're gonna be in the race for the play-in tournament. If we can hover around 500 before J.I. and Markel get back, even Chuma, hover around 500.
I just need them to stay like within 2 games of 2-3 games within the play-in tournament. You just can't be 8 games out.
Yeah.
Then you're having trouble inserting guys back into the lineup, figuring it out once again. I think you have to be right there. So now once those guys come back, it's not that much of a rushing necessarily to run guys together. So I just need this team to stay afloat. Don't drown yet. Just stay there. Just stay connected. Stay connected to that group while you wait for guys to come back. So that's gonna do it. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Who has surprised you so much so far this season? When do you think our guys are gonna come back? Do you think this team can make the play-in tournament? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.